Hi, this is my second video. So the topic is a global food crisis may be less than a decade away. Sarah Menker quit a career in commodities trading to figure out, out how the global value chain of agriculture works. Her discoveries have led to some startling predictions. We could have a tipping point in global food and agriculture is surging demand surpasses the agriculture system structural capacity to produce food. She says people could starve and governments may fall. Maker's model predicts that this scenario could happen in a decade. That the world could be short to 14 trillion calories per year by 2035. She offers a vision of this impossible world as well as some steps we can take today to avoid it. So discussion of food security seems to occur without some reference to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization FAO forecasts of a global population surpassing 9 billion people in 2015. The question of how we fit this particular number by these specific years as a worker has a slogan and effectively focus people on global food security, but population growth alone does not fully describe the problem ahead or its immediately or research at Grow Intelligence indicated this simple forecast has failed to adequately identify a much more pressing need at an even early date. Growth in food demand comes from growth in both population and per capita income. The two drivers occur in varying mixtures around the world. The statistic add up to show rapidly growing demand, and it's not clear who will step up with supply. Major producing regions such as the US and Europe already operate at close to peak efficiently and likely cannot increase production much more. South America has abundant land and resource, but can only expand at the cost of deforestation. Production forecasts for other regions of the world show solid growth but still fail to fill the demand gap. Those forecasts assume that the current agriculture system will remain unchanged. We can expect a global shortage of 2014 trillion calories per year by 2027 if not significant action is taken. However, with a determined willingness to reform practice and policies, the world can grow enough food for everyone. In 1798, Thomas Malthus warned that the same population grew exponentially and agriculture production grew only arithmetically. Humanity could expect a gloomy future of limit and misery due to hunger. Thankfully, we know that his forecasts didn't work out. In fact, the brightest years of Western civilization, well over in 200 years after his prediction, largely because he underestimated the power of human ingenuity to boost food production. Yield increased beyond the wildly fantastic of Malthus. Most bullish contemporaries have continued to this day. As farmers is low harvest 5 times as such corn in 2017 as their grandfathers and grandmothers did on the same parcels of land in 1914. Global productions improvement, however, has not been uniform. Major producing regions have emerged as others became major imported hubs. Demand have not caused disaster because every time world find threatened innovation appear and save the day. But per capita incomes and population in emerging economies are rising and at opposite speeds and in a more nuanced and potentially dangerous fashion than one or two simple numbers indicate, given current USDA and FAO production prediction, which assume the continuation of current farm practice. The world will run out of food. We will need another wave of innovation to get through the coming calorie crisis. When we set out to solve at which point global demand for food will surpass our current agricultural systems' structural capacity to meet that demand, we first analyze a basket of key agricultural commodities, such as various cereals, oil crops, and roots and tubers. These crops are critical components of diets around the globe. The straightforward calculation will have been to find the difference between the production and consumption quantity of the commodities in various countries, but rather than looking at the mass produced and consumed, we calculated the caloric value of each unit of food before we examined country specific trends. We care about food for its nutrition, not how much it weighs. By pushing the model form, a caloric viewpoint, grow I made to bring the food security discussion closer to what matters and found result that suggests that we need a more immediate call of action. It's easy to quantify production or consumption in tons and use the same measurement when discussing food shortage, but that doesn't take nutritional needs into consideration. For example, a kilogram of corn has over 2.5 times the number of calories as a kilogram of rice and over twice the number of calories has a kilogram of cassava. Affluent diets fortunately stress the supply balance. A kilogram of beef requires about 6.5 kilograms of grain to produce using data that had been transformed through our ontology. We aggregated consumption and production certified for our basket or of core crops in every country around the world from 1960 to the present. First, the amount of calories in a ton of each crop was calculated to arrive at the annual sum of calories consumed and produced in each country. Next, the calorie grams has defined in each country to be the difference between the calories domestically produced and consumed. But 40 years ago, less than a handful of regions has a calorie support. People outside of Europe and the Americas have little protein in their diets, and most of Europe was net flat, small net important of calories. China during this period maintaining a small net export balance. The agricultural systems were only 3.5 billion people. 14 years later, the world population has more than doubled size worldwide, having proved greatly with the protein in some form now was stable in most of the world. China has become the largest food importer in the story by simultaneously growing its population and operating is protein consumption with new possibilities. South American production agriculture has boomed to high North America and the Pacific on the world. Thank you.